I sent the right message to the wrong number, and an hour later, a billionaire was on my doorstep, holding roses. Yeah, that happened. And if you think I'm exaggerating, trust me, I wish I were. Because nothing about that night felt neat or movie-ready. It felt like wet grocery bags and a heart that wouldn't slow down. I'm Megan, single mom, 2 kids, too many bills. The kind of woman who can balance a sack of potatoes on one hip and a lifetime of bad breaks on the other. And that Tuesday, the rain came sideways. The parking lot was a lake my sitter canceled. My interview was in 2 hours, and I did the one thing I tell my kids not to do. I rushed, and I messed up a number. The text was simple at Westfield Plaza. Desperate for a sitter by 6. Can pay extra. Please, and what I got back was stranger kindness. I think you have the wrong number, but are you okay? And something in me unclenched, because the world had been so loud and so unkind for so long that a soft question felt like a blanket. I apologized fast, said rough day, ignore me and the unknown number, which I would learn belonged to Andrew Hawkins, CEO of Meridian Enterprises. The man whose buildings cut our skyline typed back, rough days happen. I know a vetted service, no pressure, and in my tiny kitchen with 2 kids coloring and boiling noodles, I had to choose between pride and survival. I sent my neighborhood, not my address, because safety is a habit when you're a mom, and he answered like a person who grew up with lists on the fridge. Any allergies, special routines. And I wrote back, peanut allergy for Abby, Saturn, obsession for Jackson, and a general policy against bribes for bedtime. You know what I mean? And he said a coordinator named Mrs. Patterson would call 20 minutes tops, which she did, voice like warm tea binder, like a command center, asking where we keep the EpiPen, favorite snacks, lights out time. And then before I could stop it, my bell rang, and roses were standing in my hallway, wearing a charcoal suit. He stayed a step back, hands open like he understood how much of my life was spent calculating risk. Megan, I'm Andrew. These are an apology for intruding peonies for my mother, she said. Small kindnesses bloom the brightest, and I wanted to roll my eyes at the line, but my daughter was already counting petals and my son was already testing him. Do you actually know planets, or do you just buy them, sir? And Andrew laughed and said Pluto got robbed, which made Jackson smirk, and me relax a notch I didn't know was locked, Mrs. Patterson swept in 2 minutes later with the calm of a person who has navigated every tantrum and every broken zipper. She set rules, made the kids feel seen, and told me to go change and breathe on the elevator, because breathing counts as preparation. And when I stepped into the hall to leave, I heard Andrew on the phone, the switch from gentle to steel, words like environmental standards, and walk away if they won't protect the neighborhood. And it was jarring, and I don't know, impressive, that someone who could move money around was thinking about playground shade like I do. The restaurant interview started fine. Manager in a crisp shirt, questions about rushes and broken glass, and customers who snap instead of speak. I gave the truth that service is choreography and listening fixes more than a mop. And then the door opened and the air changed because Andrew walked in, not swaggering, not hiding, just present. And the manager stood straighter and called him Mr. Hawkins, and my eyes said it before my mouth. Did you own this place? And Andrew kept his tone low. Meridian owns the harbor properties, but Victor makes hiring decisions, and I felt heat crawl up my neck because I did not want charity. I wanted a fair door to knock on. I said it out loud. I'm here to earn a job, not to catch a ride on your reputation. And he said, that's exactly what, this is a fair interview. I'm just observing, and the manager, to his credit, offered me the position, 17 an hour plus tips, benefits after 60 days, the kind of package that keeps your car from sounding like a rattle every morning. And I felt 2 things at once, gratitude and humiliation, like a scale tipping so fast, my balance failed. After the paperwork, Andrew asked for a minute, told me something I didn't want to hear, that my day job at Palmer Insurance was under investigation for wage issues and misclassification and probable layoffs. And I hated that he knew it before I did. And I hated that he was right. And then he said something I didn't see coming, that Meridian needed a community relations coordinator, someone who can translate between boardrooms and bus stops, that my admin skills and my life skills fit, that the job paid double with full benefits and flex hours for my kids. And I wanted to say, you don't know me, and also, thank you, and also, who am I if I accept help from the man who just brought roses to my door? I took the server job that night because rent is not a theory, and I took his card home because hope should be documented. And 3 days later, Palmer announced cuts that came like a wave. You can't outrun my name, not on the first list, but the water already in my shoes, so I said yes to Meridian and walked into a glass building with my chin up and my hands shaking. And I learned the part nobody tells you, that sometimes the most radical thing you can do is let help in without giving your dignity away. 3 weeks later, I was no one special. And also, somehow, the woman whose idea got a childcare wing added to a community center plan because I wouldn't stop talking about bus schedules and overtime and where you set a bench so a grandmother can see the playground and her grocery cart at the same time. And the kids were in an after-school program that finally felt safe. And the debt number stopped screaming and started whispering. And then came the gala with the carpet and the champagne that tastes like wealth and my dress that I could not afford before. And the whispers too, the ones that follow women, when men in good suits stand too close, and I did not want to be a rumor in high heels. Andrew introduced me around, like I belonged. This is Megan, the reason Riverside got a job, training center. She fought for it. She won, and I should have been floating. But I saw the glances, the quick math of gossip, and I excused myself to the terrace where the air was cool and honest, and I could hear my own spine align, and he found me there, and I told the truth because I was tired. People think I'm sleeping with you. And he flinched and then faced it. Perception matters, you're right. I've kept distance at work so no one can say you were handed anything. But I also need to be honest, I haven't stopped thinking about you. Since that text, since your kitchen, since Jackson correcting me about Saturn. And I laughed, because of course my son was part of the evidence, and I said, I don't know what I feel, and he said, then we start at, I don't know, slow, separate lanes. Your job is yours, no matter what. In writing, if you need it, and for the first time the power in the room didn't feel like a weight. It felt like a promise to do no harm. 6 months moved like water. Not always smooth, sometimes choppy, but forward. I became director after our team landed a federal grant. Our projects started showing up in newspapers under words like dignity and practical. The roses became one pale pink bloom on my desk. Every Monday, a small rebellion against cynicism, the kids learned to sleep without flinching at thunder. And in the quiet moments, I still checked myself, because plenty of people would say I was a story they'd seen before, a woman plucked from the crowd by a powerful man, and here's what I know in my bones. That is not what happened. I did not get saved. I got seen, and then I did what I have always done. I worked. I prepared. I argued for the unglamorous choices that actually make lives better. And he did what I wish more powerful people would do. He used what he had to remove obstacles without expecting me to bow. Do I know how it ends? Not at all. He is still my boss's boss's boss. And that is a knot you don't pretend isn't there. We write boundaries down. We honor them. We make sure my paycheck doesn't depend on his attention. We mess up and apologize. We win and share credit. We are ordinary on purpose, tacos and early bedtimes and calendars that hold more school plays than board dinners. You know what I mean. So here's my open tab with you. Was it right to take the Meridian job after he showed up with roses? Was it fair for him to sit in my interview, even if he swore not to tip the scale? Does intention matter when power is in the room? And if you were me, would you have said no on principle or yes for your kids and learned to live with the noise? Tell me in the comments. Argue with me if you have to share your own wrong number right outcome story, or the time you took help and it changed everything. Hit subscribe if you want more messy human stories told without the shiny filter. And if you believe small kindnesses bloom the brightest, drop a single word, so I know you were here to the end. Bloom.